Welcome to Sell Like You, the ultimate sales podcast that will teach you how to make sales your superpower, transform your mindset, and in doing so, explode your sales beyond your wildest dreams. I'm Harriet Meller, and over the last 17 years, I've helped hundreds of top companies around the world, including my own, make more money and qualify more leads using simple strategies that work. In this podcast, you'll learn how I generated over 10 million in annual sales, along with the sales techniques, processes, and tools that will work for you to generate more dream-aligned clients and scale your business beyond what you thought was possible. If you're sick of the boring, outdated, and pushy sales tactics of the past, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sell Like You podcast. And today's episode is all about diamonds. Now, stay with me. This is still going to be sales relevant, but I've really noticed in the media, there's so many more conversations about lab diamonds, mind diamonds, and the only way I can describe their argument for and against is very shouty. I think that's probably the best way I can describe it. And all they're doing is repeating over and over again that a lab diamond is a real diamond. It is a real diamond. It's still got the same grading. Now, I am not an expert in diamonds, and it's not something that I'm going to be sharing with you in terms of how you can get into diamonds or what diamond you should buy. But I can really see a correlation between this type of sales pitch and what potentially you are navigating in your business as well. So I thought I'd break this down for you and explain the fact that just by repeating it over and over again will not have a difference. It will not make a difference in your success, in your sales efforts. And instead, we need to take our customers, our potential customers, our prospects on an educational journey. We need to be able to empathize and share examples and use storytelling techniques to get the information across as needed. Now, as I said, I am no expert on a diamond, but I do love a diamond and I love a mind diamond. I never knew there was anything else until last year. And I was thinking about looking at different designs for wedding bands, as you do. And I was offered the option between a lab and a mind diamond. Now, I've only ever known mind diamonds. Lab diamonds to me are just, to me, I would have said they were fake. Now everyone's going to shout at me if they're listening to this. But that was my initial thought, was that they were fake. I was thinking Swarovski. I was thinking different stones. And actually, that was not the case. And so when I was offered both, I asked what the difference was. And I didn't have that much knowledge, like I said, then of a lab diamond, other than it being cheaper. And I opted, safe to say, for a mind diamond. I know what mind diamonds are. I'm used to them. I have them. I feel very comfortable with making a purchase, and I know where my money is what it's going into. And what I knew at the time, and I guess really what I know now, is that they're cheaper. They don't hold their value. We're currently seeing a dip in the market from my research. There's currently a dip in the market. They are, however, more environmentally friendly, and a lot of people recommend them for being more robust. Now, another side of it, when we're talking about them being cheaper, is that we can go for a larger diamond and therefore not have to pay as much. So there's a couple of things there. Most people, that are keen for something larger will then be really keen, to look at something that is cheaper. If they are really open to different options, great. But the challenge comes that when we are looking at something that doesn't hold its value based on current market, doesn't hold its value and is cheaper, we are therefore then thinking maybe is cheaper mean not as good? Why are they cheaper? There's lots of questions. And so firstly, we need to ensure that we are having our misconceptions answered. And as I said, regardless of what you're selling, I predominantly specialize in tech. So if you're in tech and you're like, what is she talking about? Why are we talking about diamonds? This is relevant to you, regardless of what you're selling. Because if you are selling something that people do not understand, you are selling something that's new in the market or in the industry, or giving them a different perspective to what they've always done or are already doing, you are going to come up against what we are currently seeing in the diamond world. Okay, so if we think about the way that it's being currently introduced is, well, they are real, they have their own grading, and that's it. It's not good enough for the people that are considering it, and therefore people either won't consider or they'll go off and do their own research, and it just probably won't be compelling enough, and then they'll come back. So 2 things we can do here. 1, understand why people buy mined diamonds. Do they have any reason? Now, my understanding would be that it's an heirloom. It's something that grows in value. It's something that people cherish. It feels like something that a possession that people really want to have and hold dear to them. And I guess really what a lot of people are relating it to is like having a fake handbag. Is, you go out there, you buy your designer, you buy something that you've saved up for, you've touched, you've held, you really want, and you then go and look at the fake ones and it just doesn't bring the same joy. So we have to understand feelings in that scenario. We have to empathize with people in the scenarios that are looking at what they understand and their misconceptions around the other thing, which might be what you're selling. And so in the scenario where you sell both, which I'm seeing a lot of places are doing, is that you have to educate on the alternative. So right now, if they're buying a wedding band, what is your current engagement ring, as an example? Okay, if it's mine, then we're going to more than likely sway towards that. However, if you believe they would be better suited with a lab diamond in their wedding band, give them that information. Explain why. And if they are dead set on mind, then give them the mind quote, give them that option, and just maybe give them a little bit of education around what a lab diamond is, just so they can walk away with additional context. And so to bring this back into the world of tech and selling of products and services, which you are all here for, if you are looking to sell multiple technologies into an organization, or you are looking to displace a current technology, you cannot go in there shouting yours is best. Mine is best, mine is best, mine is best, will not get you the sale. And this is what we're seeing in so many industries, and diamonds is just one that's really prevalent and something I'm seeing in the media at the moment, which is why I think it's so relevant to bring into these conversations. And so we need to understand, why did they choose the technology that they're with? Why did they go with that product? Why have they aligned to that service? And share some specifics around what you would like to put forward. In a vendor reseller scenario, if a vendor gets a lead, an opportunity through for their product or service, majority of vendors have a channel-based partnership, which means all of their sales need to go through the channel. And so what happens then? The first question they usually ask is, who are you currently buying from? Okay. If they then say somebody that they are not yet partnered with, they then have to introduce a new partner. Same thing it comes back to is, who are you currently working with? Awesome. How are they supporting you? And how did you find out about our technology? And what made you reach out to us? What made you come to us and ask for a little bit more information? And are you open if I share some of my recommendations around the resellers and the people that we support as well? Because that's going to give you more insight into who they're working with and why, but also allow you to almost tiptoe, like just dip their toe in the water of what else is possible. And so in both scenarios of whether they already have a technology that you're trying to dispel or they already have an idea of what they want, you will not be able to change their mind in an instant. Don't hide the reality of an alternative. So if we go back to our diamond example, is that in the diamond case, a lab diamond is cheaper than what we're seeing. And what we're seeing in the market right now is a dip in value. So if I'm thinking about spending $5,000 on a diamond, well, if I buy that based on the current market of what we're seeing, my diamond might be worth $4,000 next year. Whereas if I look at a diamond that's mined, I have to make sure I don't say real. If I'm talking about a diamond that is mined, then I know that my value of my diamond goes up, because every year I buy different diamonds or different jewelry, and they are always going up, just like gold is always going up. You can't compare gold to bronze. So therefore we need to understand that if I buy bronze, it won't scale at the same rate as gold, if at all. So we need to be mindful of actually what we're doing with our purchases and how we are making decisions. And so you don't need to shy away from that. We need to own that outcome. We need to own the reality and explain why, in your own experience, why that may be the case. My guess is that there's not an uptake with it yet. There's still education. There is still people that are trying to make head nor tail of it. And it comes into, the whole view of blockchain and Bitcoins, is that there was no understanding or knowledge of it. And so people went in and made a lot of money really quickly. And then people went in kind of like, I'm not sure, and lost a lot of money. So it doesn't really matter what you're selling, what you're buying. There needs to be an education journey surrounded by it. And so by explaining why you believe, why you think, or why you've brought it into your product range, regardless of product or industry, we need to understand the different instances. We need to understand what they're going to be using the thing for. So for example, a lot of people back in the day when cloud first came out was that everyone was like, we're moving to the cloud, or we need to have some form of cloud instance. And cloud meant so many things to so many different people. We had to get really clear on what they were, because without them, we were unable to be able to educate. Because if we take it verbatim of what they're said, what they're telling us, or what they're asking for, when they get it, they're like, that hasn't solved my problem. And this happens a lot in tech. And, we talk about the fact that if I said that I've got this problem with my laptop, would you come in and fix the problem in my laptop that I have told you there is a problem of? Or would you do your own diagnostics and then tell me what the problem is with the remediation? Because I prefer the second version, because the first version means you're going to fix it based on my very limited knowledge of what may be wrong, and therefore may have to fix it twice. Or you're going to come in and do your own due diligence and your own review before you give me the feedback. The same thing comes to whatever you're selling. Let's go right back to diamonds again. Is that what are you looking for in a diamond? How do you want to feel when you put it on? Is size a priority for you? What is your budget? And so all of that will lead you to providing them with the best solution. And you can provide them with both, but you need to explain why you've done both. And again, coming back to technology, coming back to products and services in any industry, we can do that once we do our due diligence, once we do our qualification, our discovery, we can then recommend. And when they come back with objections or misconceptions or lack of knowledge and understanding, support them. Empathize with them. Look, I totally get it. I actually felt the same. We very nearly didn't do it this way, but we've seen so much success. We've seen so much great feedback. We've seen so many people walk away with great diamonds and having great experiences and getting the size and the clarity that they want that they couldn't previously have afforded. If that is the reason, make sure you address it to those ideal target markets, not to try and find people that love and really cherish something else. For example, a mine diamond, they're not going to convert over, and that is okay. But keep educating them. Don't be annoyed at them. Don't be shouty in your message. Don't just keep repeating that they're better. Just give them the education. And so you want them to be able to relate. And so remember, it won't happen overnight. Remember that the education journey is going to be there, especially in a complex industry, in a complex environment. If you are selling something that's not yet universally understood or used, you will need to educate them. So when it comes to technology, we're going to have people that want something or are looking for a certain outcome. If they're looking for a certain outcome and I can solve the problem, my goal is to take them on that journey. My goal is to solve the problem, and it doesn't really matter how, as long as you trust me, as long as you let me guide you through that process. And so the market needs to catch up, our people need to catch up, and we can sell anything that we offer to anybody that needs it, that understands it. People don't buy in a state of confusion. People don't buy if they have misleading information that they are standing by. And our job is to potentially change their mind, but actually our job is to provide them with enough information for them to make an informed decision. And if that is with you and with your recommendation, then amazing, well done. If it's not, then let's look at how else we can do that. Let's look at how else we can have an impact. Let's educate and take them on a journey. So I hope that gave you a bit of insight and a bit more of a different view, talking about diamonds on a podcast. Who would have thought it? But remember that it comes down to education. Remember that this can be applied to you in any instance within your business, within your products or services, and whatever it is that you are selling, educate first, understand where they're at, meet them where they're at, share stories, share information, allow them to make an informed decision. It is not a representation of you if they say no. They're not rejecting you personally. They're just rejecting the information that they've been given and made a decision based on that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be in your ears and rant about diamonds for the last 12 minutes. I hope you found this informative and really helpful as you apply this into your business. Please let me know if this supported you. You can find me over on LinkedIn. Just search Harriet Meller or search Your Sales Co. And I look forward to connecting with you. I'll be back next week for another jam-packed episode of tool tips, guides, and insights into sales. Thank you for tuning into the Sell Like You podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and be sure to subscribe to never miss another one. A huge thank you to Vitality House for hosting today's recording, and I look forward to being back into your ears soon.